Hey, hello, Jack Tubbs from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona, coming to you on this beautiful Thursday here in the Valley in Phoenix. A little bit cooler than it was yesterday, but still, nonetheless, blue skies as you can see behind me, and a lot of sunshine today. So, it's one of those days that we just say thank you, Mother Nature, for the beautiful day that you've given us. Hey, I want to continue on with what I was speaking about yesterday, and that was about solar power. Is it something that's really worth us getting into? And there are a lot of different factors that kind of determine that. And number one, we looked at that, if we have really, really high utility bills, solar energy is probably a really wise decision for us, especially if you live in a large home with not a lot of shade around it. That you put insulation, you're still feeling the heat during the summer, even though you've insulated and done everything else. Solar energy is probably a wise addition to your home. Also, got to check your exposure. Do you have decent east or west exposure? Especially if you have a house that has say the back part is on the east and the front part is on the west. That's perfect because then they can split your system. The eastern part can pick up the sun's rays during the morning, and then the westerly side, the panels on the western side, can draw from the power of the sun on during the evening on the west side. So that's very important. You got to make sure that we check our exposure. Also, you're going to have to look at what it's going to cost to find out what it's going to cost per panel. Usually, it's about on average about $3 to $5 per watt per panel. An average system somewhere between, I've seen them as low as $12,000 for a household, but that usually doesn't include things like a backup battery and some of the other switches that help you optimize energy use. And then I've seen them as high as almost $40,000, but that's talking a couple of backup batteries, a lot of other additions to help make sure that you're maximizing the use of the electricity, not only from the solar panels but also from what you would have coming in from your utility. Most of them, let's say the average right now is probably about $20,000 to $25,000 with a backup battery and some other additions to make sure that you're efficiently using your electricity that not only the panels are producing but also are coming in from your utility. So these are one of the things that we really got to pay attention to, and realize that most panels, most systems are not going to need a lot of maintenance for probably the first 20 years of its life, and that you're going to find that most guarantees on solar systems run somewhere between 18 and 25 years, depending on the manufacturer and the company that installs them, etc. I've seen them, the longest I've seen right now has been 25 years for a guarantee, and there are some exceptions that have to go along with that, especially if it's, no hail damage and all that kind of stuff. Usually will avoid the warranty, etc. So that's another thing we've got to really look at is what is a warranty? What would void that warranty? What acts of Mother Nature could definitely take that 20-year warranty down to 10? We've really got to check out those things also. That's another thing that we've got to really pay attention to. The other thing is we've got to look for incentives. Right now, the federal tax credit is 22%, and it's actually supposed to expire December 31st of this year. I believe the state of Arizona has got some benefits still going, and then also I believe APS has got a small incentive left too. It's not the big incentives that we saw as solar energy gained some popularity here, especially in Arizona, but across the country. And when we used to have a 38% tax credit, the state of Arizona had, I think, like 18 or 23% tax credit, and even APS was offering a tax credit or an incentive for people to install solar energy. And that's all kind of starting to fade as solar energy and solar systems are gaining popularity here, not only just in Arizona, but across the country, where it's a really viable idea to have solar power. So these are things that we've got to keep our eyes on. We've got to make sure that we understand what our system is going to cost, what our warranties are going to be like, what could void a warranty. Make sure that we understand that completely, and that's given to us in real plain English so we can make a decision on that system no matter what happens. Because we do have sometimes during the summer we can have some really, really major hailstorms here, and I've been here when I've seen And not only roof damage and sunlight or skylight damage, but boy, oh boy, we can definitely see, I can imagine that there's been some major damage to the solar system. So we got to make sure that we got a warranty that'll cover that kind of stuff. Next, we got to look for incentives, things that help offset the cost of what we're doing here. Because if we're going to spend $25,000 on a solar system, and not only do we want the energy saving to help pay for that system, but we also want to see some of the incentives that are offered to us by federal, state, and maybe even our utility to help offset some of our costs. It makes more sense to us as we use those things, which are offered to us not only by offered to us not only by the federal government, but any state and, as I said, utility incentives. That helps offset our cost and helps us pay for that system so that it can pay us back as we move down the future. So these are a couple other things that I wanted to share with you today, and some other thoughts that I wanted to help you, are some things to look for that I want to help you as you make your decision whether you should go solar or not. If you need any referrals to good solar companies, I work with a couple. Feel more than free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction and help you get into a discussion that would help you make the final decision whether solar is for you or not. Also, if you have, if you're ready to buy or ready to sell and you have a solar system on your house, what kind of value is that going to add? That's a question that I can help answer. And also is going to depend on leased or whether owned, et cetera, et cetera. So there are some things that you really definitely have to work through if you're going to sell your home that has solar on it. And what about purchasing? What kind of value should I add to a home that has solar already in it that I'm going to benefit from? Another question to ask, and I can help answer that one too. So if you have these kinds of questions, feel free to give me a jingle. You can get a hold of me directly at 248-330-7972. That's 248-330-7972. Or if you want to email me, you can reach me at jack@thejteam.house. And that's Jack, Jack, at the J Team, and that's the THE, the letter J, then the word team, .house. Or you can call the office, talk to any of my team members at 623-252-4061. That's 623-252-4061. Hey, this is Jack Tubbs from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona, wishing you a fantastic Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow with a little bit more about solar power and what's going on in the Phoenix real estate market. Have an awesome day.